In a dark and narrow alley, Kevin wakes up suddenly. His face hurts, and he feels very confused. He can't remember how he got there, or how long he has been unconscious. As he tries to clear his head, a strange man appears. This man, calling himself the Benefactor, says he's there to help and offers Kevin a job. However, Kevin just wants to go back to his wife. He turns down the job and asks to go home, but the Benefactor shocks him by saying there was no accident and it would be useless to call the police. He tells Kevin that they've met before. Kevin has unknowingly moved to a different reality. The Benefactor takes him to a nearby cafe that looks familiar. Everyone there seems to know him. A waitress named Tina, who looks scared, takes them to a table. As they sit, the man reveals he is actually Satan, the devil. He teases Kevin, mocking his belief in God and talking about Kevin's marriage. Tina brings their order, and Satan tells her to sit and eat with them, even though she is shaking. He continues to upset Kevin, bringing up a morning fight with his wife Molly about bills, a fight Kevin doesn't remember at all. Satan explains that every decision we make creates many alternate realities. In some other reality, Kevin made a different decision. These decisions lead to countless possibilities, and Satan says he can move people between these realities. He suggests he has switched Kevin's wife Molly several times already, with lookalikes from another world. Kevin's troubles started when he gave Molly a simple necklace, which her lookalike carelessly threw away. Not believing this strange story, Kevin asks for proof. The Benefactor, ready to show him, decides to use Tina, a young waitress. He changes a setting on a device on his wrist, making Tina cry in fear. As her parents watch, heartbroken, Kevin feels terrible and asks for it to stop, but it's too late. Tina disappears, sent to a world where her parents never met and she was never born. Now, she's alone in a mental health clinic. Confused and scared, Kevin wonders why he matters to Satan. Satan offers him anything if he agrees to become a shifter, someone who moves others between worlds. As Kevin becomes more desperate, he prays silently for help. The Benefactor gets angry at his prayers, claiming he's better than God and promising never to leave Kevin. But as Kevin prays harder, Satan vanishes, leaving Kevin stunned by the chaos he's seen. Apologizing to Tina's upset family, Kevin steps outside and finds a world completely changed. Police wearing strange masks patrol the streets, and harsh rules limit everyone's freedom. 5 years later, the world is torn apart by endless wars caused by shifters who used to move secretly between worlds, getting rid of anyone who got in the way of their strict control. Billions of people disappeared without any explanation. Then, the Benefactor appeared, a person who destroys hope and faith, looking for people to join his evil plans. Kevin's decision not to pray made him a target, and since then, he has been on the run, avoiding the devil's threats through 7 scary attempts, suffering a lot of pain. As Kevin cares for his injuries, he notices an ad for the Vika Theater. It offers a chance to see one's double from another world. Kevin lives among spreading rumors that shifters, who can move between worlds and change their looks, might have left this world. His biggest hope is to find one of their wrist devices that could take him back to his own world. Meanwhile, Kevin works a normal job where he has just one friend, Gabriel. After work, he goes to the city's poor areas where most people live without hope. Even though it's forbidden, Kevin memorizes Bible verses and shares them secretly with Gabriel. He holds on to memories of his wife and the birth of his son, but these happy thoughts are often ruined by nightmares. One day, Gabriel questions the removal of the Benefactor and the lack of help from above, wondering if God ever existed. Kevin refers to the Bible, but Gabriel feels that there is no hope left. Later, Kevin goes to the Vika Theater. The owner, Russo, who has been looking for his missing cat, is not excited to see Kevin, but lets him attend a session. In the past, people came to the theater to see visions of themselves being happy, but now they see scenarios where they suffer even more than in their real lives. Russo just runs the equipment. He doesn't control what the visions show. During the session, Kevin uses the remote to see images of himself in different lives: a gangster, a lover, a prisoner, an alcoholic. Then, to his shock, his wife Molly appears on the screen. Overwhelmed, Kevin stands up, and the session ends suddenly. Russo is doubtful that Kevin really saw Molly, but agrees to another session anyway. Leaving the theater, Kevin finds himself in a crowd surrounded by police. After being away for a while, the Benefactor is back, and the city is in chaos. The police are now shooting anyone who causes trouble without a trial. During such a chaotic time, Gabriel quickly pulls Kevin to safety, and they hide in an abandoned house. Later, while Kevin is at a store, he painfully remembers the day his son went missing. He had been talking with friends, and in that brief moment of not paying attention, his son wandered off and was never found again. This tragedy caused a lot of fights in his family. Arguments broke out, and Molly started drinking. It was during this hard time that Kevin had given her a medallion with a symbol of resurrection, which she threw away in despair. One evening, while running from his painful memories, Kevin meets a neighbor who invites him into his home, introducing him to his wife and daughters. As he gets ready to leave, the neighbors, knowing he is the man who refused to deal with the devil, keep him there. The girls sing a church hymn, which makes Kevin cry. Curious about God, The neighbors listen closely as Kevin tells them the story of Job from the Bible. Suddenly, an alarm sounds, and the TV announces the benefactor's return for another round of recruitment. Anyone chosen must go to a specific place or face death. The next morning, Kevin goes back to Russo's Vika Theater. Russo is clearly upset by the benefactor's return and lets Kevin in reluctantly. Even though he's sad about his cat that's been missing for 4 years, Russo still has a bit of hope. Sitting in the theater, Kevin sees visions and spots Molly again. But in this vision, she lives with her mother and a little daughter, and she's wearing the medallion with the resurrection symbol. Kevin is struck by the realization that this is indeed his real Molly. But finding her seems impossible as Kevin doesn't have the device to travel between worlds. Determined to get back to his old life, Kevin finds Gabriel and gets illegal guns, planning to confront the benefactor and force a way back to his previous reality. The next day, he sees the benefactor in a cafe, recruiting another new person. Kevin's plan to face the benefactor goes wrong when the street outside the cafe is blocked off by police. As he waits for a chance, a fight grabs the attention of the officers, and Kevin rushes into the cafe. But as he enters, he finds himself mysteriously back in his own room, confused about what just happened. When he goes outside, he meets armed police. After several tries to reach the cafe, which always end with gunfire, a defeated Kevin throws away his gun and starts to pray. Instead of getting help from above, Kevin is met by the benefactor and Gabriel, who now claims he doesn't know Kevin. The benefactor laughs at Kevin, calling him silly for relying on what he thinks is uncertain faith. He tells Kevin to give up on expecting help from above and suggests that Kevin's only way to live well is by joining. He also refuses to talk about Kevin's missing son and says that among all the duplicates, Kevin is the only one who hasn't cooperated. Suddenly, a scream breaks the silence. Running outside, Kevin sees a police officer shoot his neighbor. When they start shooting towards his room, Kevin falls, landing next to what he soon realizes is Gabriel's dead body. In the middle of the chaos, Kevin notices a device on his wrist, the same kind used by shifters to move between worlds. Shockingly, he figures out that he has been one of the benefactor's helpers, without knowing it. In desperation, Kevin uses the device and suddenly finds himself in a barren desert. He uses the device again and ends up in a lake, then in another strange world. Frustrated and lost, Kevin keeps using the device, hoping to find his way back home. His search takes him to a mental health clinic, where he is met by several shifters who look just like Gabe. They start shooting as he tries to run away, forcing him to hide in one of the rooms. There, he surprisingly finds Tina, who recognizes him right away. Overwhelmed, she begs Kevin to help her get back to her family. Kevin uses the device again, and suddenly, he's in the home of his lookalike, the one who agreed to the benefactor's deal. This lookalike, recognizing Kevin as the one who refused to make a deal, points a gun at him and tries to take the device. In a quick decision, Kevin uses the device and escapes back to his apartment that's full of bullet holes. When he gets there, he sees his neighbor being taken away in an ambulance while people around watch, forcing him to run to Russo's Vika Theater. At the theater, Kevin quickly uses the device to find Molly and sets the coordinates to her world. Suddenly, he's in a big store where Molly is happily talking with friends. Filled with emotion, Kevin cries from happiness at seeing her. However, Molly tells him that their marriage ended because of his actions, and she has moved on and found happiness with someone else. Heartbroken, but still hopeful, Kevin sees the necklace he once gave her and holds on to the hope that they can fix their past. Just as he's thinking about this, the benefactor pulls Kevin back to the harsh reality of Russo's Vika Theater. Next to him is Tina, another person hurt by the sudden moves between worlds. The benefactor shows Kevin a vision of Molly crying after their meeting, suggesting he still has the power to bring her back. But in the corner, a sad Tina cries, and Kevin is stuck deciding whom to help and what his duties are. Amidst this, the benefactor starts a harsh speech about God, claiming he always lies and lets suffering happen. In this tense moment, an unexpected noise breaks the tension. Russo hears the meowing of his long-lost cat. Kevin laughs as Russo's cat comes back, reminding him of the good things still in the world. This happy moment helps Kevin make a selfless choice. He decides to fix Tina's life, putting his own wishes for happiness aside. Tina's parents are thrilled to have their daughter back. However, the mood changes as the benefactor, upset by Kevin's decision, points a gun at him. But as Kevin turns down personal gains, freeing himself from the tricky control of Satan, he suddenly finds himself in a new reality. Here, Molly is a nurse and a single mom, the same woman he saw in another version of his life. Just like when they first met, Kevin starts talking to her. The old spark comes back, and they fall in love all over again, getting married and joining their families. Kevin happily plays with their new baby son, enjoying his new life. In the ending, Kevin thinks back on his journey. Even though this isn't his original world, it has become his home where he has found happiness and love, which makes up for what he lost. The story, like a simple but touching science fiction movie, ends up as a mystical drama with a religious message. The story is filled with references to the Bible, including quotes from the Book of Job, and ends on a note that shows hope is truly a strong force.